Hello everyone, and welcome to another Whiteboard Sessions with Clash. Today I'm going to be going over and reviewing one of the questions I get most, surprisingly, and I wouldn't have thought it, but it definitely, after looking at it, I understand why there's some confusion, and it's on Qi'ra Zeta. I think her overall kit has been well explored and talked about by a lot of people, but I get so many questions on why would I put a full Zeta on this unique when it just gives a little bit of a stat bump in a couple of areas. I could easily put that on my mission, or I could put it in other places. And I'm not saying those places aren't worthy, but I want to make sure you understand why Qi'ra Zeta is not as meh as you might initially think. So looking at it, it's a lengthy unique. It's something, you know, there's a lot to it. Just quickly, we're going to go over exactly what it says. There's a couple of components of this that I think people might forget a little bit. The first, of course, is that she gains a lot from it, right? 40% potency, 30% critical damage, depending on the buff or no buff on the target. It is important to remember that it's the target that you want to consider in this. We're going to talk about that a little bit in some footage. The other scoundrels, of course, gain half that, so 20 and 15. They're gonna, of course, if any single enemy is critically hit in that turn, she gets prepared, she gets turn meter, and both parties get held still up for one turn, which is nice. So let's look at it from a unique perspective. Who actually has a unique like this, right, where they're giving a full faction a benefit? Well, Chewie and his guard, not really. It's just a couple people that get a benefit. CLS and his binds all things. It's really just turn meter. There's no real bonus or benefit to either of his uniques to the other people. You could look at Treya. That's going to be mostly around, you know, the triumvirate, right? Those three. She also does a cleanse. That's not really a buff, though. There's really only a couple of characters that actually offer a full benefit to your squad. Revan and his hero, my god. Of course, with like every stat buff in the world. That's the craziness. Like that, it blows my mind that that is a thing. But we're not going down there. R2's number crunch, that was like the OG version of sharing stats, and something that a lot of people took a lot of time to try to parse out what the best things were with that. Of course, of all characters, the one that does the best job at sharing uniques is the latest and greatest C-3PO. It's a monstrosity in terms of looking at all the things that he shares, but that's really it. We're gonna ignore like all the faction bonuses for like Phoenix and Imperial Troopers. They kind of have their own thing going on. There is one bonus one here that I think people probably don't know, but Geo Soldier, his unique actually gives a benefit to the Genosians, so the Hive Tactics. I think it's like something like 7% offense, or it's minimal, but point is he's really the only other one out there that gives a buff to a faction that isn't some sort of a legendary character like this. You could kind of quasi say that, you know, maybe GK giving the, you know, giving a buff in terms of crit immunity, or you could talk about maybe Night Sisters. They sort of do that. I mean, you know, and it's really, again, these are not a buff bonus. These are just kind of passive beneficial effects to a unique. Most uniques are going to be to just that one person or that one character. Cassian does this, of course, too. He gives everyone a buff at the beginning of the start. Holdo does this a bit as well. Again, we're really kind of stretching it. There are not a lot of characters that give such a strong unique to this, ignoring all the little duos that are out there like Han and Chewie, and I mean literally there's like 50 of them. So let's talk about why this matters, right? Why her unique is actually as beneficial to the faction as it is. It's really basically like a leader ability wrapped up in a unique. She already has an awesome leader ability, which, by the way, only costs you 5 Omega Mats, costs you 0 Zetas, and a lot of people would say it's probably a Zeta-worthy leadership considering how much it does. But when do you use this now, right? Because Scattering Blast is really helpful, right? That puts AoE stagger on everyone. I would use that 40% potency on a character that doesn't have a buff, because then you increase her potency and you are more likely to land that. I would use her Joint Operations special on a character that does have a debuff, because then you're really increasing the overall damage from both characters. Oh, and by the way, if that character is prepared, they're also going to be getting defensive penetration up, along with several other benefits. So remembering who you target, remember, because it's her target is what is being considered. Now this also goes for all the other people that are getting half their bonuses. Who you target matters as well. But in some cases, and I'm going to show you a video of this in just a second, you need to think about, okay, maybe I want to apply this damage or this Scattering Blast to one character, but I might need to target a different one, because that's going to be the one that gives me the bonus. Again, I'm thinking about this on offense. So here I'm just looking at one of those smuggler events I took some quick footage of. Now Joint Operations is great here because he's debuffed. I can throw Young Han or really any other one that's not, and it's going to do significant damage. It's going to be great. Now maybe I want to, in this instance, maybe I want to hit Talia or AV, but in this instance it's actually better for me to go after Old Daka, because she's the one that doesn't have a buff. I'm going to gain that 40% potency and have a much larger chance to land stagger on all those other characters. So when I throw it at her, because she's my target, I get the potency bonus and I'm less likely to be resisted. Again, let's look at this one last time, because I think this is important. The damage benefit from something like this is so significant whenever you're using the extra critical damage. It's additive. And additive damage does a lot for your overall stats, because it's compounding on what you've already got. So here you see Young Han Solo crit for a massive amount, and this is really what the faction is based on, is the ability to take advantage of the weaknesses in your opponents. So I hope this was helpful. I hope it demystified some of the things about her unique. Please like and subscribe. It really helps out, and of course a lot more good content coming. Thanks again.